Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Overwatch PIT North America. I'm LD. I am joined here by the lovely Jet Set Jamerson. We're getting ready for our opening match of the day. It is going to be Gale Force taking on Selfless. We have a round-robin group stage here. How you doing, Jamerson?
Oh, I'm doing well, and I'm super excited for these matches, especially Group A. It's looking really tough.
Yeah, so we've got 3 matches for you guys today. It's going to be Gale Force taking on Selfless to start things off, and actually we are already in the game. So let's go ahead, hop into it immediately, and we are going to have actually, looks like Selfless starting on defense. Gale Force on offense here. So talk to me a little about the matchup, Jamerson. What are you expecting out of these two teams? Gale Force obviously with an entirely new roster. I know a lot of people want to see Calvin. No longer on the team though.
Yeah, so they're bringing along Strugger and Clockwork, formerly of Splice, so they're going to be the DPS duo primarily for the side of Gale Force eSports here, but the rest of the members, they've been playing around with this roster for a while. It's just been in this rebuilding period for Gale Force for a few months now, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to try to deal with Selfless at this point as a new roster when Selfless plays a hyper-aggressive style themselves. So it's going to be difficult to see them try to make that adjustment, but hey, you know, a lot of these players are pretty seasoned. They should be able to keep their composure and try their best to deal with it. But it's been definitely Selfless who's been turning a lot of heads in the recent months, just with their tournament performances and their, like I said, hyper-aggressive style as, Gale Force starting off on the attacking side. They're going to be starting off with triple dive composition, picking up the Winston. We got the Genji Tracer duo, and then going, of course, to round out that comp, finishing off with Soldier 76 for some added DPS.
Yeah, so they are running pretty much a dive comp here, very mobile lineup. A little bit more control on the side of Selfless as we do see that initial jump in by Strugger. Gets it with the deflect, finds the quick kill, deflecting the Helix rocket as well as the Rhine damage right back into him, and now looking to take the point. A couple of quick picks and they break this site wide open. So it's going to be a very early cap of point A.
Yeah, the defense just falling apart right there. Unfortunately, Kresnik was really out of position. No one was dealing with Muma, who jumped onto the high ground up onto Gatorade, the high ground position a lot of people call here on point A. And they were just able to focus him down. As you saw, all the members on the side of Gale Force were just going to go, were able to just focus fire him down. And as soon as that Reinhardt fell, everything else fell on the defense. So right now, high ground already controlled by Gale Force eSports as the pulse bomb doesn't quite connect. But once again, Kresnik is going to be the primary target there, but he will be able to get the kill onto Strugger as Emon finds another onto Boink. So the payload still hasn't made it through the gates yet, but Selfless with this really aggressive defensive style is starting to pay off for them.
Yeah, you could see Sinatra just diving deep behind enemy lines. Did get the pulse bomb off there on Muma's Winston, and forcing them all the way back to the spawn. So as you mentioned, the payload, it's hardly moved, but they're not getting the benefits of that payload healing when they walk out of spawn. See the Rhine dropping pretty low here on the shield though, and they're going to jump right in.
Right in spawn, but there it is. Kresnik gets immediately taken out. That is popped on the side of Gale Force eSports as Batty gets hooked in, and that's not the target you want. And that's going to be an easy cleanup. They did commit the technical visor for it, but they'll be able to push this payload forward.
And they're going to get a lot of movement off of it with how aggressive that defense was. So looking at the way they're playing, are you happy with the composition they're running against the dive? Do you think they need to make any adjustments here?
In terms of adjustments, on the defensive side, I don't think, you know, Selfless really do need to make much changes, but as we do see Sinatra's still on that Tracer, can do a lot of work. As Strucker goes in with that Dragon Blade, immediately gets the kill onto Michael 3D. So, Gale Force eSports definitely don't want the pressure applied to them right now. They're just actually going to go ahead and play this hyper-aggressive style themselves, too. And I think that's one of the best ways to answer against Selfless's style, just to apply the same amount of pressure onto them and then force them out of their comfort zone. And it looks like it is paying off for them, as the payload is almost at the first checkpoint here. Kresnik will try to get in, as the sound barrier is popped from both sides right now. No kills going over quite yet. Sinatra does have the pulse bomb in tow, but Defran with the Helix Rocket gets the kill onto Vanny. You do have the whole hog coming out from Iman, and that doesn't pick up a kill quite yet, but Kresnik will taking out Strugger. So the 2-for-1 trade in favor of Selfless. As the Earthshatter comes out, it's going to land only onto WGB, but that's enough for the kill, and that's going to be enough for the hold so far.
That is not PG-13. Angry Monkey beating the ever-living crap out of the soldier. Now jumping back onto the payload as Gale Force desperately tries to close out the second point, but Sinatra is there with the deny. He finds a couple of eliminations. Kresnik assisting as well, and they manage to stave off that second checkpoint. At least a bit longer here. Not an ideal situation right now for the side of Gale Force.
They had to commit a lot for that on the side of Selfless there, as we saw Earth Shatter, Whole Hog, along with Pulse Bomb coming out for it now. Gale Force are back onto the point, and WGB, unfortunately, way out of position. Didn't have the rest of his team there. Iman GG lands an easy hook onto him, cleaning him off. So now it's a 6v5 as Numa jumps in. He's on the payload, but will have to back out. Clockwork, once again, is able to get the kill onto Jack, as the Transcendence is popped on the side of Gale Force eSports, but unfortunately, it's a 3v3, as the Transcendence is going to go ahead and dissipate right now. Iman lands another great hook, taking out Vanny. So now it's all down to Muma and Clockwork to try and keep this alive. Muma is purple, will have to back out. The WGB, first of all, in that last team fight, is back here on the payload right now, but I think Gale Force should just back off and try to go for a 6v6 fight. They do have that Dragon Blade to work with.
Yeah, and they'll have a little bit of help behind it as well. Pulse Bomb ready. Not any great setup or control, though. Really, the big downside to this lineup, they don't have a Rhinestone, they don't have a Zarya Graviton, so not the most reliable control to ensure they get the damage out, but we'll see if they can make the jump. And the payload really in an awkward position. It's just so close to the checkpoint that they have to run a really long way to get back on top. But Clockwork, he starts it off the right way, finds 2 kills to get this take underway.
Along with the Dragon Blade, this should just be Gale Force's fight, as Boink fights to kill onto Defran. So now just Iman and Michael 3D try to keep this alive, but they're not going to be long in this world. So finally, with 1 minute and 27 seconds left on the clock, Gale Force will be able to actually get this checkpoint and take a look if we can actually get these staggers. Yeah, Strugger finds 1 kill onto Kresnik, and that's going to be 3 members of Selfless down. So the payload should make some good headway here, as once again, Gale Force holding really aggressively on this push.
Yeah, you can see they're already moving dangerously close to the defensive spawn, trying to keep Selfless bottled up, and the payload should be rolling forward. They do have a lot of ultimates here, though, on the side of Selfless, so they could have a good fight. Headed their way, Kresnik closing in on the Earth Shatter, and Iman already ready to go with the whole hog. As he comes in from the high ground, finds the hook.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to connect with that shot. The pulse bomb did miss, as both sound barriers are popped. Iman GG is going to push forward. He's got that whole hog. Unfortunately, no one quite yet to try and focus down, as we're seeing this triple dive cop really paying off so far for Gale Force eSports. Transcendence off once again for Fanny, and I feel like that was his 3rd one of the game so far. WGB even getting in on the kill feed, as the Dragon Blade does come out by Strugger. I don't think it was completely necessary, as most of the team fight was won. Sinatra finally gets a consolation kill onto Boink, but once again, they are pretty close to their respawn, so not the biggest of pickups there.
Yeah, they're going to have an Earth Shatter here, as well as a Tactical Visor, and that's pretty much it for this, what could be a final hold, but this is where it could be very difficult to finish things off as the defense, but with a Pulse Bomb like that, they immediately remove Kresnik from the fight. That also means the Earth Shatter is not in the picture, and it's all up to this Tactical Visor. What is Defran going to find? He gets 1 pick on the enemy soldier.
Doing work on that Tracer.
Sinatra taken out as well, so Kresnik coming back with the Earth Shatter. The payload very close, but the team holding for now, and he gets the Shatter off. Doesn't really find a whole lot, but does force them back.
Okay, so not too bad, you know, they did bait out that Earth Shatter on the side of Selfless, so unfortunately Kresnik hasn't been able to connect with one of those nice, juicy 3-4-man shatters so far. Muma has been doing a great job on this Winston, applying so much pressure, and actually baits out the whole hog by himself. He's in the back line, as Defran does have the Tactical Visor, the Nano Visor off, excuse me, just the Nano Boost, excuse me. Only gets the 1 kill by Boink there. But
Sinatra
yeah, it's 3-for-2 trade.
does end up going down here, courtesy of the deflect, and they might be able to stall this thing out a bit further. DeFran pushing them back, and Iman there with 2 additional eliminations. So a staunch defense. They didn't get a great Earth Shatter, but the follow-up was there. Sinatra just a constant thorn on their side, and you know, even when they kill one of these, the mobile tracer, they still have a pretty beefy backline to worry about. This is going to be the last push, 10 seconds. Can they do it? They have it transcended.
Well, they have a lot of ultimates to tell, almost all of them right now. As Sugar's about to get his blades, they're going to go ahead and go in with an offensive sound barrier. That's going to force out the sound barrier on the side of Selfless GG as the Dragon Blade does come out. Sugar is in the back line, but 2 of their members will be able to get into the spot to try and get away from that damage as Sugar gets the kill onto the Doc. Transcendence was used in the back line. The Elon GG will go down, and Boink taking out Sinatra there. It's going to make this defense really hard. It's all down to Michael and DeFran to try and keep it alive, but in overtime, Gale Force will be able to complete out this map, and so now it is going to be Selfless's opportunity to try and attack and push to the end.
Well, you know, Jamerson, that was not the easiest finish. They took the first point about as quickly as you physically can, just straight in with a very fast mobile lineup. Then they started to stall a little bit at that second point. Were able to push it through and ultimately cap, but not nearly as, I think, a convincing finish as the start made it look like it could be.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to how hyper-aggressive they were actually playing it. Initially, when the payload was making its way through the streets phase, you know, you saw the majority of Gale Force eSports holding outside the spawn of Selfless GG. And at that point, generally, you want 3 people on the cart, you know, try and make it move as fast as possible, but you also just don't want the defense to set up and get the high ground. And yeah, it just became a really scrappy map at that point. It just kept going back and forth, back and forth. The teams just trading away consistently over and over again. And neither team really establishing the offense or the defense. You know, I think Selfless did a really great job of actually being able to regain their composure and actually at least force it into overtime there. So if they are able to complete the map out with more than a minute left on their clock, that does not allow Gale Force eSports to get a second opportunity to go for point A.
All right, so we'll see what they can do. They're busting out the a la carte Torb, no Symmetra by his side. Thoughts on the Torb on defense? Not something we see a whole lot of nowadays.
Here on Hollywood, some teams do like to play him. I mean, he can definitely stall out. If he can really start gaining some traction and start getting that armor onto the rest of his team, it can be a huge boon for defense. But once again, it's one of those picks that just really fall if not played properly. But we'll see. Last time on the defensive side for Selfless, we saw that Kresnik actually got really caught out on that Reinhardt, and so we're seeing Muma playing a bit more passively here. Of course, they do have that Torb turret to fall back on.
You can see Sinatra is ready for the placement behind the bushes, immediately kills it off. So now they're down the Torb turret. They almost lose the Diva mech as well. It does get healed up for the time being, but very low up on top of the building. Now sweeping through, Sinatra staying alive in this one, looking for the pickoffs though. Iman's already gone down and might be able to find some more here, but the turret gets rebuilt. Hanging on, kills it off once more. That pesky Torb just won't die easy as Boink drops very low. Finally starting to find the kills. Michael 3D there with the biotic grenade. That will help them, but still, this Torb continues to be a pestilence. They just can't seem to kill him off.
Yeah, from Gale Force, we're finally able to stabilize their pulse bomb, not quite connecting out from Sinatra. And generally, we've seen Sinatra do an amazing job on this tracer, able to connect these pulse bombs. Not quite yet in this series. He is in the back line here by Dumpster. He is going to have to be careful. As WGB does have his turret up, but it was only level 1, so that's going to be an easy snipe for Sinatra there. So Sinatra's just doing a really good job of trying to pull apart the defense here and get their attention drawn elsewhere, as we do have the turret actually being built up by close by security in the back alley there. And Hog's on the hunt for it right now as President is on the point. Noma has to be careful. He doesn't have the support of the rest of his team. But as he does push in from Cafe there, we have the Earth Shatter coming out from President. He lands off the 3 and he gets the charge on the point. So now it looks like Selfless GG in a great position as 3 members of Gale Force are down. We have the sound barrier coming out and it looks like it's just to go ahead and secure this spot. But with about 2 minutes left on the clock, that's going to be Selfless taking point 8 here.
The great Torbjorn experiment doesn't end up paying off for too long in the end, and I imagine we're going to see WGB swapping off of that. As the Lucio comes out, a much more standard composition. It felt like they were starting to snowball a little bit, Jamerson, but and even with some good diva play, Pocky almost an entire Soldier ultimate still just didn't seem to matter. Didn't get a whole lot out of the Torb ultimate, lost his turn pretty quickly, and then things fell apart.
First Shatter comes out, and that's going to be Clockwork coming in with the follow-up, getting a double kill, triple kill. Make that a quad with that visor there. Defran does finally answer back with only one kill, but, you know, this defense is going to hold on the side of Gale Force. Defran might get cut out here. He is in the high ground by himself, and that's going to be a really late stagger. That's huge, actually.
Yeah, they also don't have a whole lot to push forward the rest of the way on either side. Bonnie is getting a bit closer with the nano boost, but that's basically it as far as major ultimates this upcoming team fight. So it's going to be down to pickoffs here. The whole hog comes out from Iman, pushes them quite far back on the right, now spinning around, trying to work on Clockwork, bring him down early. The Soldier will fall, and now the nano boost is available for Bonnie. Perhaps that could turn the fight.
I've got you in my sights.
So the whole hog doing a whole lot of work for them as Sinatra is able to stick Mumo within. Defran will clean up that kill, and so that's the entirety of Gale Force eSports down. They might have another opportunity to push in here, but taking a look at Defran right now, he's already pushed up at the spawn along with Sinatra just to make sure that no one comes out to contest. At this point, I think they're just going to move as a 6 and just concede this point here. So Selfless will be able to take it. They'll get about 4 minutes on the clock to push in for this final push. Oh, Iman gets the hook onto Clockwork, takes him out, finds a second kill onto Muma, and now this defense really starting to fall apart on the side of Gale Force eSports.
They've got some big ultimates, and this is where you can, that bend but don't break can turn around, but do they need to swap here? Is it just getting picked off? Like, what do you think is really going wrong for Gale Force in these last couple of fights?
Unfortunately for Gale Force, they haven't been able to shut down Sinatra at all. Sinatra has been doing what all Tracers should be doing, just, you know, pulling the attention of the defense, all different angles. Right now, as Shrugger does go in, he's got that nano blade. He gets a double kill already. Michael 3D and Presley going down. And so at this point, with Shrugger actually coming up huge for his team right there and shutting down the offense, this is where they can reestablish their footing. But once again, it's really going to be important for Boink to try and shut down Sinatra, find that hook, and make sure that Sinatra isn't just being that fly on the wall and just continually pestering them.
Ouch, just unfortunately, Shrugger just walking right into the pulse bomb there earlier. Will end up going down, but Iman finding the hook will get that quick pick off onto Clockwork. So now Sinatra also falling. Both teams down to Tracer for the time being as a variety of support ultimates get deployed, and both teams playing chicken for now. No real second round of damage as of yet. But here comes the aimbot.
So
this could change it.
Are coming out. Defran pushing forward. Unfortunately, the Earth Shatter didn't connect onto him. He only gets the 1 kill off of that, though. But at this point, Selfless are starting to clean up, and they have so much time on the board, as it is Numa trying to get in with this Reinhardt, but he gets cleaned up by Iman. Iman is just going to continue to be a beast, and taking a look at this time, 2 minutes and 46 seconds left on the clock for Selfless. That does not allow Gale Force a second opportunity to attack point A here. So Selfless is completely in the driver's seat, and they should be able to carry this momentum on forward to their next push.
Woo! It was like someone just, you know, spanked them, and then all of a sudden they got it together, man. That was a quick turnaround, and it felt like they just hit the kill switch, never really looked back. Do we need to see a change in hero composition? Is this just more about teamwork as Gale Force? Once again, a great start. Not really following through, though. And once they switched off the Torb, they didn't seem to really have a great plan B for more standard comp.
There were so many great things that was happening for Selfless there. Once again, like I said, Sinatra has been touted as a really great tracer that, and we got to see throughout the series, or throughout this map, right? So so far, he hasn't been getting, you know, the huge pulse bombs, 2-3 man pulse bombs, but he has been doing his job as that tracer, continually applying pressure to the back line there that allows Iman and Defran to come in and just start getting free fire. Muma consistently getting peppered from the back by Sinatra. He hasn't been able to like play the Reinhardt the way he probably wants to. I mean, we've only seen 1 or 2 good Earth Shatters out of him so far in this map, and that's largely thanks to Sinatra. So we'll see. I mean, 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. I believe Selfless were able to take the first point A in just a little bit over 2 minutes. So this is looking really good for them as Defran actually has boosted himself. He's making his way into the back line. He might actually get into the cafe there as they are pushing forward. So Sinatra gets that first kill onto Boykin. That's crucial. This is where they start snowballing. Frantic finds one onto Vanny, and there it is. Selfless with already 4 members having taken out on the side of Gale Force eSports. They're going to be able to take point A, and this should be the first map going on over to them.
Wow, just completely falling apart. All of it starting with the hook. Emong finds the initial pick on Boink, who was playing the Roadhog, and he's just going to swap off of that. They tried for the triple tank lineup. It didn't really pay off, and already match complete as they will get that final cap on the first point, and really no time at all. That was a very decisive second showing from Selfless. They come into this match as favorites, but they really didn't show it at the very start, but coming down the stretch of this first game, they pull it together and show why they're considered one of the stronger teams in North America.
Yeah, and like I had mentioned at the beginning of this first map, you know, it's going to be very difficult for Gale Force eSports to try and face off against the Selfless squad, who actually haven't been running as dive-heavy a composition as they would like to, but Sinatra is just consistently applying pressure on that Tracer. It just feels like it's a triple dive by his own works there. But hey, Gale Force eSports, you know, I think they did a pretty good job on their offense. Their defense was a little bit more lackluster. It just kind of fell apart once the pressure was applied once again by Sinatra. So it's going to be interesting to see what map they take this to. I kind of want to see them take it to